Hello. This is Bubbaville Auto Network, and we're back. It's been a while. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. If you've already subscribed, please know that we appreciate you. So let's get going. Over time, we've had the chance to capture footage of some great vehicles, and also had the opportunity to talk to a variety of different people, including the owners of some of the cars that were featured in these episodes. If you haven't done so already, go take a look at some of the vehicles that we've covered in the past. Vehicles like the impressive Impala in episode 7, the magnificent Mondial in episode 8. I hope I said that right. There's episode 5 where Bubbaville faced the Challenger. We kicked things off with a 3-part series featuring the RIP Auto Society, which stands for Ride in Peace. Episode 10 shines a light on a Corvette gathering. If you have a love for Corvettes, check out those videos. We can't forget episode 6 with the Mean Green Challenger, and the episode that seems to be a channel favorite, the noteworthy 1975 Chrysler New Yorker. And now we are here coming up with ideals, thinking what should be the next car that we showcase. And we concluded that this would be the perfect time to highlight one of the cars in our garage, which is a 1972 Buick Electra 225, also known as the Deuce and a Quarter. And there it is, folks. My 1972 Buick Electra 225. This picture was taken a couple days after it was purchased. And no, it's not gray, black and white. It's actually green. Green with a tan or yellowish top. Man, these cars are nice. I love the details. Me and my father spent a lot of time together. And one thing that we talked about often was cars. From a youngster to an adult, it never failed. Whenever we were talking cars, one car that always came up in our conversation was his 1972 Deuce and a Quarter. My father purchased his straight off the car lot, brand new. He never failed to remind me that he had the 2-door and he had the top model, which I believe is the custom limited with the split seats, not like the bench that I have. He always talked about the beautiful details on the inside of the car, the doors, the dashboard, and how great of a car it was to travel in. With it being a 2-door, I used to always wonder how would it be comfortable for a family to travel in until I got this one. The back seat and the trunk in these cars are huge. I just want to say now, please excuse some of this footage. This is footage that I shot when I first got the car, and I don't know what phone I had at the time. This footage is terrible, but it'll get better, so hang in there with me. Well, the story behind me owning this car is my father ended up having a stroke, which in turn affected his ability to drive. Losing that freedom took a toll on him, and it had an effect on me as well. So one day, I decided that I was going to search every outlet possible, and my mission was to find an Electra like the one he once owned. I was hoping to find the same color and interior setup. I was told the color of his Electra was called a Palomino tan. Let me tell you, the mission that I was on seemed nearly impossible. You see, I was searching nationwide, hoping to find the perfect Buick. And to my surprise, I found a couple of Electras that were quite close to me, distance-wise, but they were 4-door. And I had made it up in my mind, I'm not gonna settle for a 4-door. I need a 2-door. And the only 2-door Electras that I can find were in California and Michigan. Seeing how I'm from Western New York, I chose to purchase the Electra from Detroit. Honestly, I felt it would be less hassle purchasing the car from a closer location. The seller sent me pictures and video of the car and its condition. I knew there was work to be done. The interior of the car was in pretty good condition. I got the car for a great price because, as you can see here, the car was a little banged up. But I went through with it. I thought the car would be a good candidate for what I was looking for. A good cruiser for me and my father for that upcoming spring and summer. I worked out a deal with the seller. He agreed to actually bring the car to me on a trailer, which I later found out he didn't do. For some reason, he decided to drive the car with a friend of his following him. The process ended up being a headache because I got a phone call from him saying that he needed me to meet him halfway because he and his friend are tired, and it was a longer drive than they expected. So me and my bro hopped in my car and we drove a couple hours away to go take possession of the Buick Electra at a gas station. It was pretty late. I was gonna call a tow truck to see if I can find a way to get it back to my hometown, but my bro was like, man, I'll drive it home. I remember him calling me while he was driving the Electra on the highway and saying, man, this car rides nice. It's really smooth. But about 30 miles away from our hometown, we had an issue. I must admit, not knowing what was going on, I was a bit nervous. I saw a small cloud of smoke come from under the hood of the Electra before we pulled over. I ended up having to leave the Electra at a gas station overnight. I came back the next day with the flatbed tow truck. I learned from a mechanic shortly after that it seems like someone did do some work to the Electra recently. However, they left the old drive belt. I was told if that old worn-out drive belt had been changed before the trip, the car should have made it with no problem. Here's a blurry visual of them trying to get old girl up the back of that flatbed. He was doing everything he could to keep her from scraping the ground. It's windy out here. After you subscribe and like this video, head over to our page again and check out part 2 to see what we do to this Buick next.